Troubles chasing me again, breaking down my best defense. I'm looking, God, I'm looking for you. Weary just won't let me rest.
You're welcome. This is part 2 of our new series, Maximize Courtship, and today we'll be looking at healthy guides in courtship. Healthy guides in courtship. A lot of people out there in relationships looking towards marriage. That means they're in courtship, and they're just meeting together and just interacting in a haphazard manner. No concepts guiding them, and that's why we put this video together to just help somebody out there. So, healthy guides. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 10 says wisdom is profitable to direct. So these are actually wisdom tips to just guide you, give you direction as you journey towards marriage. Enjoy it. Number 1, do not assume. Do not assume. A lot of people are frustrated in relationships because they assume too much. They assume too much. A young man walks up to you, lady, I like you. Can I have your number? You chat on Facebook, social media. The next thing is asking you out on a date. From there, you've been going out for maybe a year now or so, 6 months. And then you assume he has proposed to you. Wow, very expensive. That's costly. He only asked you out. You've been going out on dates. You are not engaged. You know, these are some of the assumptions that have been going on, and a lot of people have been frustrated over time. You know, he's cheated on me while there was nothing really binding. All right, do not get frustrated by believing assumptions. Okay, so do not assume. So I want to ask you right now, are you courting, or what are you having? Until a man proposes to a lady and a lady says yes, you are not in courtship. Young man, you told her you wanted to spend the rest of your life with her, and she has not told you a yes, and it's been lingering 1 year now. She's been hanging around you, you've been going out together, but there is no yes. Young man, you are assuming. You're setting yourself up for heartbreak. She could print her wedding card tomorrow and give you a copy, and then you're wondering what's up. Because you have been assuming. All right, please do not assume. Clarify things. In case you don't know what's going on, sit him down. As you go out on the next date, you've been going out on dates for 2 years, sit him down, tell him what's going on. Is this a relationship heading for marriage or what? All right, ask her, it's been a year I proposed to you, you've been enjoying my company, what are we doing together? You've not told me a yes or a no, or maybe it's wait. Okay, you've told me to wait, it's a year now, what are you saying? Okay, do not assume. All right, when you state things clearly in a relationship, it chokes assumptions. You leave no room whatsoever for assumptions. Point number two, set ground rules from the start. Any game that's going to make sense and will be enjoyable will have rules from the beginning. All right, in the game of football, I mean soccer now, okay, you're not a goalkeeper, you don't touch with the hands. Even when you're a goalkeeper, it's not everywhere you can touch with the hands, isn't it? They give you a back pass, you can't touch with the hands. All right, so many rules governing. So if you have that in football, in sports, other games, it will not make sense for you to think in marriage you should not have rules. When you don't have rules, anything goes. And I will advise you to avoid this anything goes concept, because anything goes doesn't pay anybody. Somebody will pay for it. Somebody will be hurt at the end of the day. It may be one party, maybe both parties. All right. So set ground rules. A wise quote is states that the way you make your bed is the way you lie on it. So don't assume that people will make rules or guides for you. I don't want to say rules, but guides. All right, guides. It's milder. Set guides, set boundaries for yourselves in the relationship, early in the relationship. All right, it's not where you get in there. There are times when you're at points where it's difficult to make a decision, but if you had set rules from the beginning, it becomes very easy. All right, set the rules from the beginning. How do you want to run your relationship? All right, a lot of people just copy and paste from what they see here and there, and it's the bulk of what has been causing the problems for them in their relationship. Don't copy other people. Make your relationship unique all right? Because you are two unique individuals, two different backgrounds coming together in view of building a home. So make your relationship unique. You could steal a thing or two from other people that you find nice, but let there be originality in your relationship. Set the boundaries. Also, ensure that your expectations are stated, well known, and expressed. A lot of people have their expectations cut short, their expectations are not met, they are frustrated, they're not getting what they bargained for because there was no bargain in the first place. Make sure your expectations in a relationship are well spelled out. This is what I expect to see. This is what I'm expecting from you. This is what you're expecting from me. So at the end of the day, the parties have their expectations met, or if they're not meeting it, they know they are coming short of meeting one another's expectations at least. But ensure you set ground rules. Set your expectations. Discuss everything, all right? Don't expect whatever you don't express. If you don't express it, don't expect it. Don't say it in your mind and expect your partner will know. Back to point one, you are assuming, all right? Express yourself, lay all your cards on the table, set the boundaries before you begin. I don't want to talk about sexual matters now, we'll get into sex later, but it's one of the boundaries you need to set. From the onset, set those boundaries. We're not sleeping together until we get married, all right? In case I sound old-fashioned, one of our series we're going to discuss, and we'll look at sex and courtship. It's one of the parts we'll be discussing later on, right? Point 3, avoid secret courtship. Avoid secret courtship. For reasons best known to some couples, they are courting, but they are reserved on the matter. They don't want other people to know yet. There are many reasons why people do things like that. I don't know. Low key, I don't want other people to know. We're not yet out in the open. Good and fine. For whatever reasons you have decided to have low key secret courtship. But my advice to you, do not allow that linger long. For how long do you want to have a secret courtship? You are creating room for a responsibility. You're setting yourself up for heartbreaks, all right? It may be for both parties, it may be for one party, but I assure you it will not end well. Why are you having secret courtship? If for one reason or the other you're into it prematurely, set things right, all right? And then let your courtship come out in the open. Also, that you're having secret courtship or you cannot publicly announce it yet is not a reason for not having guides over your life, all right? One or two people should know. Your mentor should know. An elder should know. An uncle should know, okay? So even if it's secret to the public, it should not be secret to one or two people who help, oversee. We'll talk more on that. So please do not breed irresponsibility or set yourself up unnecessarily. Point number 4, be accountable to higher authority. This is a follow-up on the last point. Be accountable to high authority. I advise you, young man, young lady, the person you're courting right now, if this person has nobody in his or her life to whom he's is accountable, all right, there's nobody who can say, hey, come here, sit down there, I advise you not to go on in that relationship. Yes, not to go on in that relationship, because a man who has nobody over his life is a dangerous man. He's a loose cannon. He's going to explode somewhere later. In the next 2 years of marriage, 6 months, he's going to explode, and nobody will be able to call him to order. So ask, is there anybody over his life? Ask him, do you have anybody over your life? Whether you call him a mentor or not. Is there an uncle, an elder, a pastor, a mentor, a boss somewhere he respects and can call him to order? If there's no such person, he finds one, or I advise you to do something about. I won't tell you to quit the relationship, but you advise yourself. I can just guide you. That's the best. But that man is a loose cannon. Should you have complicated issues tomorrow, there'll be nobody to help. You'll be drowning, both of you, in that ship all by yourself. So find somebody with whom you'll be accountable. You see, accountability helps. I've heard stories about a lot of young people, they just break people's hearts. What do you call them? People who kill people one after the other, they call them serial killers. People who break the hearts of young men and young ladies, I don't know what you call them. Serial heartbreakers, right? Okay? I tell you, before the end of this series, I'll look for a name and tell you. But for now, let's use serial heartbreakers, all right? The reason why you have serial heartbreakers in relationships is because of things like this. Nobody to watch over you. You see, if I tell, as a lady tells you yes, and then she says, well, I have somebody I respect so much, is a mentor, or she's a mentor, I like it to meet, and then you go meet this person, probably interacts with you, gets to ask you a few questions and all of that, and they like oversee the things as you permit them in the relationship, you will not behave anyhow. Yeah, you conduct yourself. You will not act irrationally, all right? Because somebody's watching, she's not alone. And that's the point. Do not be alone in that relationship, because if you're alone, you're on your own, okay? The Bible even says in Ecclesiastes, it says, woe to him that is alone. But if you're two, you can be helped. You can be helped, all right? So please be accountable to higher authority. Leadership any day is a protective covering over your head. So cover yourself. Be protected. When folks are not serious, you have the playboy type, you have the guys who are the playboy type. They come around you and then they see that there's somebody, a mentor who is going to scrutinize them, try to see through their intentions, whether they're serious or not, they're in for the real thing or not. Such people very early back out and don't even waste your time. But should you lack a mentor, you may waste 3 years, 4 years, and then discover that they are not serious. They did not get into the relationship in the first place because they were looking for marriage, or you may be looking for marriage but they're not. All of that, you will save yourself if you have somebody over you. All right, I can't overflog that enough, but please do get a mentor today. Get somebody like a guide who will oversee you. Point number 5, how far should you go? How far should you go? That's a very loose question, but I'll define it within the context of what I want to talk about. You have people courting, particularly in this part of the world, and then their expectations. I expect you, I'm a man, I expect you to come in, do my laundry. I expect you twice a week, to cook for me. I expect you, and the expectations go on and on and on. I expect you to come sleep over every weekend, and then we can do things married people do, etc., etc. How far should you go? My response to you is this: let responsibility determine that. Let responsibility determine that. Until a man pays your dowry, he's not totally responsible for you. And so there are some levels of authority he cannot wield over you, or he should not. If he's wielding it, he's wielding it illegally, or you are permitting him to wield it in love. Is that not what we always do? Yeah. So if for any reason I do your laundry, I cook, it's voluntary. It's because I want to, not because I have to. Because until you are totally responsible for me by way of paying my dowry and getting married to me, you cannot wield 100% authority over me just yet. You can't. And a lot of people are in a mess today because they actually don't understand this point. Until you have full responsibility after you have paid bride price, you cannot wield full authority. If I do some things out of love, I just go out of my way to do it because I want to do it, not because I have to do it. Okay? So you need to understand this. You need to understand this. It will save both of you in the relationship. Point number 6. Begin to know your families. All right, I say this in an unofficial sense. Okay, you're courting somebody, seek to know 1 or 2 people. All right, and particularly people with whom your future spouse is very comfortable. Find that in the whole family. It could just be the mom, or it could be an uncle somewhere, a remote uncle somewhere, somebody she feels very comfortable around. Start, get to know them. Also, this is another checkpoint in the relationship. Should this person have ulterior motives? At that point, they begin to back out. They begin to step on the brakes. Well, it's not in every case that such people have ulterior motives. Should they not be interested in a relationship? You see them fidgeting and not wanting to meet members of your family. Okay, for a lot of people, this have been determining points. The lady tells you, all right, when are you going to meet my family? The man starts fidgeting. He crawls into his shell. He starts withdrawing. Something is wrong somewhere. And it was very good that as a lady you asked that question. I know of people who have saved themselves, wasted years, wasted efforts because they asked the man that question. When are you going to meet my uncle? And all of a sudden he's fidgeting and he's not interested. He doesn't want to, why don't you want to meet my uncle? It's questionable. You need to press. You need to find out. If your partner is shying away, find out. So this is unofficial. You need to talk about it. Don't rush into it. But as time permits, and as the relationship evolves, get to know one or two family members, a brother, a sister, know somebody. Okay. Point number 7, avoid sex. In fact, point number 7, avoid sex, avoid sex, avoid sex, avoid sex, avoid sex. Like 100 times, avoid sex. I tell you something, avoid sex. Because something is very important. I said earlier on that courtship if courtship must be successful, if courtship must be productive, that's why our series is tagged Maximize Courtship. I'm supposed to help you maximize your courtship by these teachings. Okay? If you want courtship to be successful, it should be 95% talking, because it's in talking that you get to know. The foundation for sex is touching. Once you start touching and touching and touching, you're laying a very good foundation. I'm telling you something. So you see, and I discovered that both are not compatible. You cannot talk much and touch much. No. One will be less. It's like a seesaw. One will be less, one will be much. And both end in two different results. You see, when you talk more and touch less, you will know more of your spouse. All right? And that's the whole essence of courtship. Knowing more to be comfortable to say, hey, let's go sign the papers and get married. All right? And I've discovered also that when you touch more, you will talk less and have sex more, and you will not know your partner, and you're setting yourselves up for heartbreak. All right. Statistics has revealed that most relationships where they have a lot of sex and courtship, most of them don't end in marriage. All right. Most of them do not, because you're having free bites. Why would you pay for one? If you're having free ice cream, why would you pay for one? If I'm having free ice cream, I will not pay for one. All right. But when I know the only way I'm going to buy it is to buy, all right, then I'll prepare myself and be more serious with it. Okay, so sex puts your relationship at risk. And what's the risk? It may not end in marriage. So if your intention is to have that relationship end in marriage, I advise you to zip up. By all means, zip up. All right. I told you that we'll have a full session on sex, maybe 2 or more sessions on sex, I tell you, because it's a major factor in courtships today. As many sessions as we need to have on this sexual matters, courtship and sex and all the related matters, we will, to help somebody out. Okay, the last point is relating your past. Relating your past. Everyone has a past. Good, some bad, some ugly. Everybody has a past. Not all good, not all bad, not all ugly also. But my advice to you is this. Okay, let me give you an illustration. All right, 2 illustrations. You make your choice, your pick. There's this car, badly bashed. I heard you want to buy a fairly used car. The car's been bashed. Come see it. It's bashed. And after telling them it's bashed, it's a 2016 model of Toyota, but it's bashed. So much curiosity will not be aroused in the person you're speaking with, okay? Because you're getting to know, the first introduction to the car is from the point of weakness. But should somebody walk up to you I saw this Toyota today, 2016 edition. The engine is, the seats are lovely leather. You need to come see the car. The wheels, sweet alloy, tapping glass, and then you're describing. But it has a few challenges. It was bashed somewhere, and I think we have a mechanic. We'll just change the parts, see what we can do. Which one is good marketing? I've painted 2 pictures. Make your choice. Of course, the second one. What happens when we market our weaknesses in a relationship is people become disinterested in us. We look like second class. We look like second hand. We lose value. I advise you, in as much as you want to be open, you want to be sincere, you don't want to leave rooms for suspicion, a few things here and there about you, and you want him to hear from you firsthand some of the things he needs to know about your past, quote and unquote, need to know. I advise you, let him know who you are. Let him know the good about you. Let him know what you're loaded with first, or else he'll be viewing you from the point of your weakness. All right, and it will haunt you in that relationship. It will not pay. So everybody has a weakness, but what do? We market our strengths. We market our strengths. We don't market our weaknesses. So in case you have a weakness, I advise you, let this person see you for who you really are first. And as the relationship evolves, all right, some people just first date, first knowing, you say yes today, by the next day you download everything about your life, the good, the bad, the ugly. And most of the times we start with the ugly first. And then this person develops cold feet. Yeah, if it was a car also, you develop cold feet. All right, it's about who is doing the marketing. All right, because head or tail, we all have weaknesses. Okay, we all have weaknesses. So it's about the timing now. Some people have asked, should I tell him things about my past? I won't tell you yes and no. The only thing I'll tell you is, if there are things he's going to discover tomorrow and it will shake the relationship to its very foundation, I will advise you that you let him know some things right now. And by right now, I mean before marriage. I do not mean today. I do not mean the day you told him yes. All right, the day you're saying yes to him. Okay, I mean as your relationship evolves and unfolds and you become more comfortable interacting, you're getting to know each other, then you can begin to let all the cats out of the bag. You can begin to empty your wardrobes of all the skeletons there. All right, but I advise you strongly, let this person see you for who you are. And then the weaknesses may not be weighty at all. Okay, we all make mistakes. I love you for who you are right now. Who you are right now, if not you're telling me the story, who you are right now looks nothing compared to who you just described or this incidents that you just described. That's it. But when you paint this first, that's the only picture that'll be on this person's mind. Okay? So ensure that you handle that with all wisdom. That's all we are taking for this week. Join me next week as we adventure deeper into this series. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next week.